Hello, beautiful humans. This is Jaylene and Jules from the Empowering Women Project, and you're listening to the EWP podcast.
This podcast is for the women who know deep in their soul they are here for more. If you are done with the BS stories and limiting beliefs that are holding you back from your dreams becoming a reality,
come jump in the driver's seat and pave the way back home to her. This is a space for you to feel seen, heard, supported, and accepted for who you are, who you were, and who you're becoming.
Celebrating you wherever you are in your journey. Sit back, grab a tea or a wine, and come empower yourself with us. Jules and Day, let's grow. Hello and welcome back to the EWP.
Hello, beautiful humans. Happy Monday.
It is so good to be back. As always, we just love catching up with you guys.
We do. It is our 3-month anniversary. This is going to be obviously launched a couple of weeks after, but
it seems like a lifetime ago. It seems like 3 years ago.
Literally. It really does, hey. We've learned so much.
Yeah, when you think about it, we've released 15 episodes to date, and I think today is our 15th. And if you think about it, that's like 15 hours of just recording already in 3 months.
Amen. And not to mention the research and everything that goes into the back end of what we do and the love and everything like that. So thank you guys for following our journey. If you're new here or if you're one of our OGs, we love you so much.
So today we thought it would be beautiful to talk about how we started the EWP podcast and all of our tips and tricks and all of the things that impacted us along the way. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool time step to listen back to this in like a year's time. Hey.
For sure. So I think the biggest sort of cat in the room is that we hadn't is that we hadn't met in real life when we launched the podcast, which I still think is just insane.
Literally, we signed a business, like an ABN, have never met before. The trust that we had in each other. When you really think about it. But how cool is it? The power of social media, connecting people, and then next minute you're creating a podcast together and you've never met before. I think it's so cool.
Exactly. Yeah, we just both had a dream and a vision and a mission. And, when did we start? We started talking about it, I think, back in April last year in 2023, because that's when we first started our Instagram page. So we were talking about it. We were like, stay tuned, podcast incoming. And then we hit all these roadblocks along the way last year before we could officially launch.
Yeah, 100%. Life just gets in the way, hey. And I'm just so glad that we just were like, no, we're doing it now. And before 2023 was over, we got it done.
Exactly. Yeah, we released our first episode on Boxing Day.
Even in Christmas time. See, look at us go. We're amazing.
Yeah, I just remember us being like, no, we're getting this out into the world. We are doing this. It's time. We want to release it before the end of 2023. And yeah, we just worked as ferociously as possible to make sure we released it. And it just happened to be on Boxing Day, which was so cool.
I know, right? And you also launched your healing business the same day or the day after, hey?
Yeah, I did. I had my first full moon circle on the 27th of December as well. So it was both in one big whammy. I was like, right, these have been sitting in my manifestations forever. Let's get this going. Let's make these happen. They're not just going to sit there. I need to act on them.
So how it started was generally I would have loved to wait till we had a photo shoot, but we didn't. So we had to literally get 2 separate photos and merge them together on Canva. And when we look back now, I'm just like, oh my God, I was literally cracking up laughing before we got on this. But that's how keen we were to just get it out into the world, no matter what, perfectly imperfect. And we got it done. And yeah, ended up flying down to meet Jules and little Huddy, and we got a photo shoot and we got some content together and met each other. It was so emotional. There were so many tears and chewing gum nearly in my hair and all the vibes. But yeah, it was beautiful. I love how we did it. I really do. Like, so perfectly imperfect. We're just learning everything as we went.
I'll forever remember our little heads like floating. They were just floating. We made this, our first ever photo was merged together on Photoshop, and it was just crazy how they were just kind of floating in the air.
With the pink on. Oh my God. Anyway. Oh, it was funny as.
We had no idea how to create content. We had just done reels for our personal Instagram, but we had no idea the work that went on behind the scenes. Like, we just kind of learned as we went, hey?
Literally, we did. We failed forward, learned, grew, got frustrated, all of the rest of it. But it's actually amazing when you think of how much we didn't know beforehand and how much we know now, like the programs that we've navigated through, how boss you in particular have gotten at editing all of my little weird things out of our episodes. Like the patience that Julia has, honest to God. I don't know how she does it. But yeah.
It's a gift. It's a gift. What can I say?
Literally.
And I think the one thing that really stands out for me is how we were so excited and how we really thought that our family, our closest friends and our family were going to be following along with us on the journey. And that wasn't really the case, was it?
No, we've sort of had to force them.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's one of the things that we both had to navigate. Like, what the hell? Like, we do show up really greatly for our friends and we pour love into them and all the rest of it. But then in return, when we started this podcast, it kind of felt a little bit lonely and kind of like, from my perspective, a kind of a kick in the face when you're like, oh my God, like they can't even just share our podcast or, it's really hard to navigate actually. And I think a lot of people that start a side hustle or a business or a creative project or something probably feel exactly the same.
Exactly. And I think our one piece of advice for that is like, just don't give up. Like, don't give up and believe in yourself. Even if the people you thought were going to believe in you don't show that they're believing in you, make sure that you don't give up on you.
Amen. Make your why stronger than the reasons why not.
Yeah. And that's not all of our friends and family. Like, we have a lot of friends that do listen in and do support us. But yeah, I think it's just overall, you think you would have so much support when you first launch something like a podcast. And it's really sad and lonely. Yeah. So, but don't let that hold you back from starting your own. If you're considering starting your own podcast, we highly recommend it.
100%. You learn so much about yourself along the way.
Definitely. So what were some of the programs we've troubleshooted?
Well, we started off with Zoom, to be honest. And so we were doing videos just so we could see each other. And then we were editing with Audacity, which is a free program. We absolutely love that and still use that to this day. We are now recording on Riverside, which we are still getting to know, but we do love how it's got the short clips and all that sort of stuff. It's so cool. We haven't figured it all out yet, but so far so good.
So we use Podbean as our platform where we release our episodes. So that's our host, I suppose, platform. And that goes out to everything. So we set it up with our RSS feed, which then goes off to Apple, which then goes off to Spotify, which then links to YouTube, I believe. Yeah. So all of the things, we upload it to Podbean. We set the time, which is 11:11, which we established along the way that we wanted to release an episode every Monday at 11:11. And we've been pretty good about doing that. But yeah, so that's the main app that we use as hosting, I suppose you would call it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And they've all been pretty straightforward. Like, we have had to utilize YouTube with some tutorials and stuff like that, but otherwise pretty straightforward. We've had a little bit of trouble with uploading our Apple photo. It just hasn't went from our Podbean. So we're still in the works of doing that. There's been little things along the way, but they're just, our perfectionism sort of vibes, having the photo the same on all platforms and stuff. But yeah.
Just a lot of learning and growing and deep conversations. Like, I don't think there's a day that goes by where we don't talk in depth about the podcast. And we've got Google Doc upon Google Doc that we refer to. I think we've got one on topics. We've got one on notes. So we'll pick a topic on what we're going to talk about when we record on Mondays. And then we will just drop notes in throughout the week, like little head dumps, if you will, along the week, quotes, books, things, life experiences, all the rest of it. So that when we have our podcast, if we go blank, then we have a little bit of notes to fall back on, which is a hot tip and a really good idea.
Amen. And then it also helps you create, because we have canvas on our Instagram, as you'll see, for each episode that drops. And then we put some quotes and just what the episode's about. We just then go back through our notes. So we're not double whamming and having to think too much about all of that. And I guess going from here to where we want to go next is creating more reels and things like that. So, people are able to see inside the episode. They're able to see a little clip of the episode.
Yeah. And then people don't realize you have so many different accounts. You have to make an email account. You have to make your Insta, depending on what socials you want to be on, your TikTok. You have to make your Facebook, link your Insta and your Facebook, CapCut, which is a content creation app. So there's just so many little things. So I keep them all organized in a Google Doc as well with all of our passwords. And Daleen actually is like, I added to the Google Doc. So she's loving the organization side of things as well. At first she was like, whoa, I think, weren't you, babe?
100%. I am someone that's doesn't like scheduling, I don't know. I just haven't had it in my life, but it's slowly changing my life over here. Okay, guys. Thanks, babe. Teacher vibes of Julia, bringing it in hot.
Yeah. And then what about the mics and the headphones?
Mics and headphones, we researched that and we were just kind of seeing what other podcasters used. I'm pretty sure a lot of people use our headphone. I think they're called Audio Tech. We can link all that stuff, and we use Yeti microphones, but also you probably don't need to go as far as these were quite expensive. I thought they were budget-ish friendly, but you could just use your headphones and a microphone if you have, a little room and stuff would be better for sound quality. But we just wanted something that blocked out the outside noise from our microphones, which I'm pretty sure that does.
Do you remember when you called me and you had gotten your headphones and you'd open them first?
My God, yes! Oh my God, the little insert input thingamajiggy into the computer. Oh my God, hot tip for anyone buying these headphones, unscrew it so it fits into your computer.
She was she voiced it to me. She's like, we've got the wrong headphones. I can't believe this. And then she had an aha moment and she was like, oh my God, never mind.
Yeah, because headphones, obviously, to plug into your laptop would be different to what you're plugging into those board things when you're together with, when you've got more than one microphone in one area, you need one of those, I don't know what the boards are called, but you have a different input for them.
Basically like a soundboard.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another thing that we have found really challenging has been the algorithms of social media.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Honestly, you have all these different platforms and you have to create different content for each one, and there's just expectations of each one, and they each have different algorithms, and it's just crazy. So I think it's really insane when we look at how many followers we have on Instagram, which is 224 to date, celebrating each and every single one of you. Yay. But when we look at the amount of followers we have on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, it's not a representation of actually how many people are listening to Empowering Women Project when we look at our hosting app, which is Podbean. So we're in several countries, which we are always shocked to see. The list grows every time we look at it. Do you want to name some of the countries that we are in, babe?
We are obviously in Australia and Canada, which is Jules's birth country. We're in Singapore, US, Mexico, Netherlands, Indonesia, Switzerland, Israel, Siberia, Philippines, Peru, New Zealand, Norway, Egypt, Ireland, UK, France, Finland, Germany, Brazil, South Africa, and so on. We're how the hell are we in these countries? But and
our top 5 listen to apps are our intro app, Chasing Your Dreams, Building Confidence, All Things Self-Love, and Be the Person You Want to Be.
Yeah, and I think they're our first 5 released episodes as well from memory. So I love that people must be going back to the beginning of our journey and listening from there, because I never used to do that. I always used to listen to people's newest ones. But it was only just recently I'd scroll back to hear how far people have come on their journey, because we were starting a podcast. So I was curious to see how people started and how they were and how they are now. So yeah, it's crazy that people do that. I love it.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see how far you've come. Like if you look at somebody's social media feed, like on Instagram, for example, you'll see how their content creation was when they first started based on how it is now and how much love actually goes into that content creation. Like we started off with simple photos and descriptions for episode drops and, you know, adding the links onto that, and then moved on to carousels now with like hot tips, quotes, links, photos. So you kind of grow along the way as you begin to experiment and sort of, I guess, move outside your comfort zone.
100%. And you just learn new things, hey, like how we've done in-depth notes and all the rest of it now, which I think we have done from the start, and it has saved us in episodes. So hot tip, if you're starting a podcast, definitely do that as well. And then you can also reflect back on what are your repeating things. Like we've been analyzing what we talk about the most, which is generally like limiting beliefs, healing, chasing your dreams, like healing your core wounds and all the rest of it. So yeah, you start to figure out what your little thing is.
And then you trial along the way as well, like which content gets the most likes and follows, and you learn little things about each platform. So for example, with Instagram, we realized that when you share it to your story, if it had a link in it on the initial platform, so say on EWP, and we then share and tag our personal platforms like Daleen and Jules, you have to go over it with another link when you're sharing it, because it doesn't actually copy and paste the link over, which is a bit of a pain. Instagram, please fix that.
Literally, like they're a little bit behind the times. When you start creating content, you start seeing all these little things. You're like, oh my God, honestly, like we're in 2024.
Exactly. So yeah, I think even though we've gone through all of this, it's been really helpful going through it together, because we've been able to troubleshoot. We've been able to bounce ideas back and forth. We've been able to really share the load. And I think that's one thing that I really just love about our business relationship is that it's very much like our friendship, where we just sort of step in and we're just like all hands on deck all of the time. So if, if I'm all hands on deck one night, you might be the next night. And like it just sort of goes in sync really, really beautifully.
Amen. And life happens. What we've realized is life is still happening, no matter if you're chasing your dreams or not, or whatever. Like those weeks where we're just absolutely exhausted, mum life, work, business, all the rest of it. But we still seem to get on every Monday, no matter what. Like we just made it our commitment that we've blocked out that time every week, no matter what. We fit it around everything. I don't even think there has been a Monday where we haven't released an episode since we... No,
there definitely has not. We've released an episode every single Monday since we started.
Amen. And sometimes we've had to double batch some episodes if we know that, we got some things coming up on that next Monday, like doctor's appointments we cannot change and stuff like that. We just double batch episodes and release them as we go. So that is another hot tip as well.
And holidays too.
Yeah, holidays. Yeah, amen. When all the kids are home. That would be wild. Imagine that episode.
No, definitely not. So, yeah, I know it sounds a little chaotic, a little crazy, a little like, but it has all been worth it. And I'm so grateful for just having that inner drive to chase our dreams.
Amen. And help other people along the journey. Like so many DMs that we get. It's just beautiful.
Eventually, I know we would like to sort of do a course on how to start a podcast.
Yes, because that's one thing actually we found really hard was actually finding someone that wasn't sponsored by someone. Because we're not sponsored by anything that we're saying, obviously, by any of the programs that we use. But it was kind of conflicting because then we'd start a free trial and then we'd realize that they completely sold us a lie. So we had to trial and error so many things. And these are the programs and everything that we've used in the description below. But we're not affiliated by any means or anything like that, but we just want to help people who are starting a potty.
Exactly. And everything we do is literally from the heart, and as we always say, our own experiences. So you might have a different experience with the program that you're using, but this is ours, and these are like the programs that we have troubleshooted and we find are working the best for us.
Amen. Also, another thing for collaborations, if you're starting a podcast as well, we've only just figured out is contracts. And we're currently using Jotform. You can touch on this a little bit more, babe, because you did the research.
Yeah. So initially we discovered, okay, it's probably time for us to have a logo. So what I did was I developed 7 logos on Canva. So you can get Canva for free. Or you can purchase a subscription. So I have one through my work email. So anyways, I developed 7. You can use the program for free. I think I already said that. I developed 7. I developed 7 logos, sent them today. And then she was like, these are my 2 favorite. I was like, actually, yeah, same, which happens all the time. So we released them out to you guys on Instagram, and everyone on Instagram then voted. And the one that they voted for was actually our favorite as well. So we determined how to watermark that, which was a mission, but got that done as well. And then was able to create the Jotform. So with the Jotform, it is free. And what you do is you just sign up and you basically create a contract. And what the contract looks like is it just binds you and the person that you're collaborating with, so the guest that you're having on the podcast. So, for example, they can't come back and say that we need to pull the podcast after we've released it. They have to agree to share it on their social medias. I won't share everything that's in the contract, but you just put in the things that are suitable to you and, your vision, your business, your goals. And then you're able to email that contract out to each of the guests that you have on the show, and they simply fill it back in and sign it and send it to you. And once you have that, then you move forward with the booking.
Yay. It's so good. Hey, it just takes all of that like itty gritty stuff out. They can just read over it. If they agree, they agree. If not, they don't.
Exactly. And then, as I said, it kind of protects you as a podcaster. In the event that they decide, they change their business name and they decide they don't want that content out there or whatever, like they've signed a contract. So then they are legally binded to continue on. So those are a few of our little tips and tricks and what's sort of happened behind the scenes, but I don't think we would change a thing.
No, 100%. And we always said from the beginning, perfectly imperfect, because we wouldn't have started otherwise. If we waited for like all of our ducks to be lined up in a row, if we waited for all our limiting beliefs just to fall out of our brains, like it just would never have happened. And for life to be quote unquote perfect, it's never going to be. And you got to find the time, make the time, and just do it.
And we do still have some limiting beliefs that pop up. We'll have moments where we're like, oh, do I know enough about this topic? Have I experienced enough about this? And it all just comes back to like our own personal experiences, which is what we go on about. And everything's under that overarching healing umbrella.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we hope that you learned something along the way of our sort of, how we got to where we are today in the last 3 months.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful time step for us to listen back and see. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, so what do we need from you guys? We need you to get around our socials because we put so much love into them. Like, share, comment, like, share, comment again. Like, share, comment. As much as you can, because we just want to reach as many women as possible. And if you're not following us, please come and follow us. If you don't have socials, then like and share the links in an email or by word of mouth with your friends.
Yeah, for sure. And you can also turn notifications on Spotify. I'm not sure about Apple, so you can get notified every time that we release an episode. You can also do the same on our Facebook and Instagram as well, turning on the notifications. So
you can do that on Apple as well.
Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. So turn on the notifications, share the love, and it just shows us that, people are listening and we're doing the right thing.
And review us. And our DMs are always open. So if you ever feel like, you really resonated with something, or you want to give us feedback, or you think there's something we could change, whatever it may be, please DM us or email us. And we would love to hear from you.
For sure. Much love, beautiful humans.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye. We hope you feel inspired to take back your power. Thank you for listening into the EWP Potty with Jules and Day. We want to challenge you to share this potty with someone you love. Let's get all women involved. Follow us on Insta at empoweringwomen_project. Facebook and TikTok at Empowering Women Project.
We invite you to interact with us on our socials, our threads, and in our DMs. We are open to collaborating and invite you to reach out if you feel inspired to be a guest on our EWP podcast. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. We encourage you to start believing in yourself and the magic of the universe.